Listen, man, come on in the room. Let's chit chat. Let's talk. Let's get this started, guys. I want you to tell somebody that DrG Davis, the relationship beast, is in the building. All right. So do me a favor, log in quickly, guys. We're getting ready to get started, and it's about that time. So let's go ahead and get started. Log in quickly. I want you to tell somebody that DrG Davis, the relationship beast, is in the building. And we're getting ready to get Relationship University started. And we're going to kind of do two shows tonight because I wanted to kind of tag off of where we left off on Tuesday. And so we're going to do Men's Society tonight as well as It's Complicated tonight. So we're going to try to kill two birds with one stone. So log in quickly. We're getting ready to start. I want you to grab something to write with. And we're getting ready to start. I see my dear friend Apostle Margie Edmondson is in the building. Welcome. Latricia is in the building as well. Guys, go ahead and let somebody know. Listen, to DrG Davis, the relationship beast, is in the building. We're getting ready to get started. I see my good friend Day is joining us. Go ahead, hurry up. Share this real quick. I want to see some hearts when you guys join in. I want to see some hearts when you guys join in. I want to know what city you're viewing this from. And we're going to get started in about another 3 minutes. In another 3 minutes, I see Shawan on here as well. Guys, go ahead and log in quickly. Let somebody know that I am in the building. And we are getting ready to get started. We have an interesting conversation tonight, so I can't wait. I see Dory's in the building. Go ahead and, again, tell me what city you're viewing this from, guys. We are on our way to a city near you. We're getting ready to leave and head to Atlanta, Houston. It'll be in another 2 weeks, guys. We're going back to DC. We're here in New York as well. I'll be in California. In fact, I'll be in LA in August, and then we're going to go back home to my hometown in Seattle. So we'll be there in August. So if I haven't came to your city, I promise you, I am on my way to you, and we're going to make our rounds throughout the summer. So I see Ursula in the building. Guys, go ahead and share this video real quick. We're getting ready to get started. I want to wait just a few minutes because I want to make sure that we have enough people to talk to tonight before we get started. I hope you've had a great day, and I hope that everything was everything today. And so it's been hot here in Florida lately, but it's been amazing. It's been amazing. So hopefully you had a great day and it wasn't too painful. So, guys, I'm ready to get started. I see Jeanette watching, and I'm about ready to get started. We got so much that we need to talk about, and I have a short period of time to do it. And so let's go ahead and get started. So do me a favor. I want you to get to a quiet area. I want you to put the kids away. I want you to get situated, sit down somewhere, and I want you to grab something to write with, and I want you to, I need your undivided attention for the next at least 60 minutes as we talk about soul ties and obsessive exes, all right? We've gotten a number of messages and text messages saying, DrG, would you please touch on this subject? And so I told him I would. And so tonight we're going to talk about, again, our soul ties, and we're going to also talk about obsessive exes. All right. So we're going to talk about soul ties and obsessive exes. All right. So let me just put this disclaimer out there. You'll be really, really surprised on how many exes that you've dated that still mentally think that they are in a relationship with you. I'm going to say that again. You'll be surprised on how many people still believe that they're in a relationship with you. And there's even people who have never been in a relationship with you. And from Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they imagine being in a relationship with you. And they have become obsessive with you, stalking you on your pages, liking all your pictures. And I'm telling you, this thing has gotten out of control. They're in your DM pretty much every day. And so this thing is going crazy, all right? But there's exes that you've dealt with, being men or women, that you've dealt with in your past that still think that they're in a relationship with you. And somebody said, Dr. G, what are you talking about? Well, let's just take an example. Let's just take, ladies, let's just take your baby daddy, for instance. You all haven't been in a relationship and I don't know how long, but when he calls, he doesn't call to check on the kids. He wants to call and check on you. Where you at is one of his first questions. What are you doing? Almost like we in a relationship again. And so this relationship has been over for quite some time now, but they still trying to check you as if we're still in a relationship. That's because mentally in their mind, they feel like the control never stopped. And so in an attempt to use the kids as pawns, most men do this. And we got some ladies that do it too. And just trying to keep tabs on you, even though you're not in a relationship. So we're going to talk about, again, obsessive exes, and we're going to talk about soul ties. So I got a letter actually on Monday, and I said I must read this on Thursday night. I wanted to read it on Tuesday night, but we started talking about the Kate Spade situation, and so we didn't get a chance to talk about it. But I said I would promise I would read this letter on Thursday. So it's Thursday, and I am going to read this letter. I'm not going to do a lot of answering to this letter, but I want you just to hear this letter in its entirety. All right, so let me read this to you, and I want you to tell me what you think. All right. Hey, Dory. Hey, Evangeline. I want you to tell me. I said, Kanika. Hey, I want you to tell me what you think. All right. It says, Dear Dr. G, I broke up with this guy 5 months ago. I dated him for about 3 months. I told him that it's best if we don't see or speak anymore. The months we spent together were horrible. We had nothing in common. He would always fall asleep during the dates, during the movies, at the red light while driving, and I had to wake him up when the green light was on. He told me once that he passed out at night while eating. I really couldn't take it. I kept on telling him that this is not going to work. So I guess that the relationship I had with him was trying to get him to understand that I don't like him anymore. One day I had to act mean to get him off since he wouldn't get it after I told him that it's not going to work, blah, 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 she says. I told him stop calling, not to write or to come near me. All right. She says that up to now, he's calling at least 2 times a week. A few days ago, I saw his car by my job. Last week he parked in front of my house and kept on blowing the horn. Today, he called, inviting me to go to the movies. That's weird and kind of creepy. I had to double check before I left my house just to make sure that he was not there. He was always calling from different numbers. Always calling from different numbers. Knowing that I wouldn't pick up the phone. I started dating again, and I'm always angry each time my cell phone rings to find that it is him. I don't want to look bad or look like I'm mean. But I am out of patience. I've said it nice, good, bad, mean ways to him, and I'm afraid that he's going to turn psycho and kill me or something. Please help me. What should I do? So I want you guys to tell me what you guys think about this letter. There's obviously a lot going on, and so I want you to help me answer what's happening in this letter. All right. I see Natasha. Welcome, Sabrina. Hey, Lisa, what's good? So I instead of answering this letter and answering her question, I want to kind of tell you guys why exes still be sweating you. All right. Let me kind of tell you why your exes still keep sweating you. And there's a number of reasons why that they keep getting in contact with you and they just won't leave the picture. All right. There's a couple of reasons. And so I know you guys can probably come up with your own. But these are just a couple of reasons I think that they are still after you. All right. So Sabrina said restraining order. You're probably right. So here's a couple of reasons why I think that your exes, even years later, maybe even months later, are still trying to go after you, still trying to holler at you, yada, yada, yada. All right. So number one, I think it is that either he or she had cheated and they really just genuinely miss you, right? And so one of the things I tell men as we talk to the men tonight in training, and husbands in training as well, one of the things that I teach men is that every man will come in contact with at least 3 to 4 good women in their lifetime. All right. From the time that they leave high school to the time that they pass away, I believe that they will come in contact with at least 3 to 4 good women in their lifetime. Now, out of these 4 women, 3 of them, they were absolutely just messed over. And then there's always that one that they'll never forget about. And this is the one that they always try to keep in contact with and kind of keep in their back pocket. So, and this is also true for women. I believe that every woman would meet at least 3 to 4 good men that treat them right. You know, I'm not talking about the dogs and all of this stuff, but I'm talking about good, solid men that at what particular time, at any given particular time, they weren't ready to kind of deal with this situation. So, so number one, it could be the fact that maybe he cheated or she cheated, and they just generally miss you. Is the reason why he's sweating you or she's sweating you. Number 2 could be that you were really good to him. All right. Anytime, listen, and the old saying is true. You don't miss your water till your well run dry. Anytime you've been good to a person, listen, I miss you too. It don't make no sense to be crying over spilled milk. But when you've been good to a person, you know you've been good. You've been faithful. You did them good. You were good for them. Anybody in their right mind would be crazy to mess that over. But at times we do because of immaturity. All right. So maybe you were just really good to them. And again, they miss you for that particular reason. All right. Number three could be that you were just amazing in bed. Maybe they missed the sex. And that's not everybody. So stop smiling and grinning because everybody ain't good. I don't care what you say. You're not going to fool me. Everybody ain't good in bed. And so, but for some of you guys who are, maybe it was the bomb.com. Maybe he couldn't get enough. Maybe you couldn't get enough. And maybe this is the reason why he's sweating you or she's sweating you, bro. Maybe because you put it down. I don't know. I wasn't there. But you know, if you last anything more than 3 minutes, you might be a keeper. And so maybe you were amazing in bed. Maybe that's the reason why he keeps sweating you. He keeps calling you. He keeps texting you, yada, yada, yada. All right. Number 4, guys, maybe the reasons why he's sweating you or she's sweating you and won't leave you alone may have everything to do with the fact that you love to support. And we got some great supporters out there. And in fact, I'm going to leave my PayPal information at the end of this broadcast so that those who love to give can give. But you supported him financially. You just love to support him. Listen, he didn't have no shoes, no place to live. You was his meal ticket or you was her meal ticket. And so, again, you don't miss the water until the well run dry. And so, you know, I don't have no funds, so I need to call old girl again because, you know, it's hard out here. So it could be because of financial reasons, right? The reason why he keeps sweating you or she keeps sweating you, bro. It could be either or financially. But last but not least, I want to tell you that it could be because of mental issues. All right. We're dealing with a lot of people, and I've said this. You guys probably heard me say this about 8,000 times, and I think it's worth repeating again tonight. And that is that the dating game and the marriage game, guys, has changed because we're dealing with people who are not just dogs. They're not just cheaters, but now we're dealing with people who have severe mental issues. And I'm talking about people who are bipolar. I'm talking about people who are schizophrenic. I'm talking about people who are dealing with postpartum depression. I'm talking about all this type of stuff when we talked about depression on Tuesday night. But you're dealing with people who look great on the outside, but internally They're not doing that good. They're not doing that good. And the fact that you called the relationship off, and the fact that you don't want nothing to deal with them, now this is a form of rejection to them because of their mental capacity. Does that make sense? So because you don't want nothing to do with them, you stop all contact, you stop calling them, you don't want nothing to do with this individual. To them, this is a form of rejection. And so, ironically, this individual is going to keep calling you because guess what? Nobody wants to feel rejected. And so, I'm going to keep sweating you. I'm going to keep calling you. I'm going to keep coming by your house because mentally, it's just not registering that this is over. It can't be over. This is just too good. You were too good to me. You know, it feels like, and here's what they will say. It feels like everybody who comes into my life leaves me. Everybody who enters my life, at some point, they leave me. Well, that's a sign of rejection. This is somebody who's been rejected. And so maybe this is the reason why this individual is sweating you. And you think that this person has a problem, and you're probably right. It has probably something to do mentally about what's going on and what's happening. So those are some of my reasons. I'm sure you guys can come up with your own. But this is probably the gist of why your exes keep sweating you. Again, it's a lot of things that might have everything to do with the reason why they won't let go. All right. So let's go a little deeper. All right. So I want to give you guys, and here's the 7 tips to how to get rid of an obsessive ex. I want to give you 7 tips real quick on how to get over an obsessive ex. All right. So you might want to write this down because you might be dealing with an obsessive ex right now and you don't know how to get rid of them. All right. One of the things that is horrible is still dealing with things from your past when you've tried to do everything in your power to move forward and to embrace your future. So I want to give you 7 tips, guys, on how to get rid of an obsessive ex. All right. You ready? Here we go. All right, so number 1, you've got to do something really, really important, and that is you got to tell the truth. I said you got to tell the truth. That means, ladies, you can't beat around the bush. That means you can't say 1 minute you like me and then the next minute you don't. You've got to mean what you say, and you've got to say what you mean. Bro, you can't lead her on and thinking that y'all gonna get back together. But you got to tell the truth. And if you don't like this individual, you got to say, listen, you know what? It ain't me. It's not you, it's me. That's what it is. It's not you. Nothing's wrong with you. It's me. I need to figure out who I am. All right, so you need to be honest about where you are and what exactly do you want. You'll be surprised. I talk to people all over the country, and you'll be surprised that most people do not know what they want. They say they know what they want with their mouth, but their actions is totally different. And so if I tell you that I want to deal with you today, but I'll call you 3 days later, you sending mixed signals. Now I'm confused. And so, you know, last night you kicked me out your house, but tonight you want me to come back over. So you got to be clear about what it is that you want. You've got to tell the truth about your personal situation. You got to embrace your truth. All right. And for some of you guys, if it's, I don't want to be in a relationship, I'm not ready to be in a committed relationship, let that be your truth. If we just going to have sex, let that be your truth. Because the reality is that there's too many people who are getting hurt and thinking things are going to, you know, progress as time goes on. And there's a lot of people being misled because people will not tell the truth about their situation. I tell this to everybody. I say, listen, every relationship always starts good in the beginning. Every marriage always starts good in the beginning. It's not until maybe 6 months down the road or a year down the road in the dating relationship where things start to unravel and things start now being exposed. about the real truth. This is why I tell you guys, you've got to pay attention to what your eyes see and what your ears hear from the beginning. I said this to someone last night that Maya Angelou prophesied. She says, lift your hand. She says, I need to tell you something. She says that when people show you who they really are, you need to believe them. And so I took her prophecy a little further and I said that when people show you who they really are consistently from the beginning, you need to believe that. You don't need to second guess that. You don't need to try to comprehend something else. You don't need to try to overanalyze. What you see from the beginning, I promise you, is what you're going to see in the end. In other words, the things that we do in our dating life, guys, will always be magnified in our marriage. All right? I'm going to say that again. The things that you see, traits, cycles, addictions, issues, trails of problems, whatever you see in the beginning, guys, will always be magnified the day that you say I do. All right? So this is why you got to embrace the truth. Now, here's the challenge. Because some of you guys say, listen, Dr. G, I want a man to just be honest with me. I just want the truth. I can handle it. And most of y'all lying and you can't handle the truth. You really can't handle the truth. You go crazy. You go hysterical. And the man told you, listen, I don't want nothing to do with you. Well, you lying. You want me. I look too good and this, that, and the third. And he's telling you through his actions that he don't want you. That's why he don't call you. That's why he don't text you. That's why he don't want to see you, because he's not interested in you. And anytime a man has many options, you will always be a second choice. All right? If a man is not making you top priority, you're just another option. All right? So you've got to embrace the truth. My question tonight is can you handle the truth? And most of you guys can't. Some of you guys can, but most of you guys can't. Because the truth sometimes is painful. Because not everybody can handle being rejected. Yeah, we kicked it for 2 weeks. We went to Fridays, IHOP, and Olive Garden. And all of a sudden, I just stopped calling you. And I told you when we finally did call and talk, I don't want this no more. I think we should slow down. I think we should, see other people. And if an individual is telling you this is not things, guys, that you need to completely ignore. You need to hear what they're saying, and then you need to grant them their wish. Because my thing is this. I'm not in the business of making nobody stay with me. I'm just not. I'm not like some of y'all. I'm not going to convince nobody. I'm not going to pay nobody to stay with me. It ain't going to happen. Either you like me or you don't. It's either you want to be with me or you don't. It's either you love me or you don't. But I'm not finna sit here and make you and prove myself that you should love me. That's supposed to be a choice that you want to make, not because I'm forcing you to make it. So number one is that you've got to live and you got to tell the truth. And for some of y'all, telling the truth is difficult because now it's exposing who you really are. And some of you guys are not ready for a relationship. Let me say this without cussing. Some of y'all are not ready for a relationship. You're not ready to date. You're not ready to be married. You're not ready. And the reasons why you're not ready is because you're still dealing with issues from your past. Your ex is still calling you. You're still in love with your ex. You'll be surprised at how many people who are in relationships now that still think about their ex. And truth be told, they're using you to get over their ex. And you would never have their heart because their heart is still with their ex. And it don't matter how bad they did them, they are still in a relationship with their ex. And until you can expose that truth, you'll never be happy. You'll never be complete. You'll never be fulfilled because you will always be thinking about what happened in the relationship that you had in the past. So number one, guys, if you're going to get rid of an obsessive ex, you got to tell the truth. And the first person you need to tell the truth to, it needs to be you. All right? Number two, guys, is if you're going to get rid of the obsessive ex, you got to cut off all contact. I want you to hear me. You got to cut off all contact. That means emails, text messages, DMs, You got to cut it all off. All right? And then you got to stop contacting their friends. And some of y'all go to the same church with them. Y'all go to the same gym and lift weights. You got to cut off these places that that these friends are going to be with, because they see you, they're going to pull you to the side. Well, have you talked to John? John been looking for you. What? John been what? Sheila been looking for me. What? Shelly been looking for me. Yeah, they talk about you all the time. And so this drags you and brings you back into this relationship that you thought you had left. And you thought they had left. Why is he still talking about me? Why is she still talking about me? Why is my name still in their mouth? Because they still think that they're in a relationship with you, and it's like a stronghold. All right? And so the problem is that you keep coming in contact with their friends, their family. You still going to the same church. And so any time that these people are in the same facility, guys, it's never good. You can't, come on. You can't, you can't say that you're not an alcoholic when you're always around alcohol. It's kind of difficult. If you're always around alcohol, you got to get away from the alcohol so that you can continue your sobriety. All right. So you got to cut off all contact, emails, text messages, phone calls, all this Skyping y'all doing, and all this video chat, FaceTime. You got to cut all that off, guys, because what you're doing is you're keeping this soul tie active, and we'll talk about that in a few. So number 2 is you got to cut off contact with all common friends, family, yada, yada, yada. Number 3 is important, and that is you got to delete, and delete. All right? That means you got to delete his number. You got to unfriend him on Facebook. You got to stop following him or her on Instagram. You don't need to have any sense of motivation of trying to contact this individual. And so this is an issue for people who say, listen, Dr. G, well, that sounds good, but I share kids with this individual. Well, here's what you need to do. You got to keep it business, right? You got to keep it business. So all this extra talk that you're doing, you got to cut that off. Cut all that off. All this extra stuff. Can I come by and I want to see my kid, but you really trying to come by to hit it? Listen, these games that y'all playing, listen, what you fall in yourself is the same cycle over and over again. And so, you was coming over to see the kids and drop the kids off, and some crazy reason we ended up in the bed. My clothes came off. Some kind of mysterious reason. Some type of power just came over us. And my clothes was off. My drawers was all over the floor. But you got to delete this stuff, guys. You got to delete it. You got to delete it. You got to delete it. All right? So you got to delete his or her number. You got to unfriend him. If need be, you might need to block these individuals, because if not, you are giving them ammunition to think that, listen, maybe we could get back together. And one thing I want to tell you guys, is the exes that mess you over, I want you to hear me clearly. The exes that mess you over, stop looking for clarity. All right? Stop looking for clarity. Stop looking for closure in that relationship. You're dealing with people who have never apologized. And if they have apologized, it's been very, very minimal. And you're trying to get over this person, and you can't get over this person because you're looking for them to come back into the picture and apologize to you. I want to teach you something real quick. So there's a couple of things that you need to understand about spoiled milk. All right? I said spoiled milk. There's a couple of things you need to understand about spoiled milks. All right? So one of the things I learned about spoiled milk is that when milk gets spoiled, it doesn't apologize for being spoiled. It's just spoiled. It doesn't ask you for closure when it's spoiled. When spoiled milk gets spoiled, it doesn't say, listen, can we talk about this later on tonight? Spoiled milk doesn't ask you how you feel about it. It's just spoiled, guys. And stop trying to help people who are spoiled. I'm going to say that again. Stop trying to help people who are spoiled. Spoiled milk is spoiled for a reason. All right? And so there's only one thing that you need to do with spoiled milk, and that is you need to throw spoiled milk away. But some of y'all try to be slick and try to take that spoiled milk and reserve it and make some cottage cheese out of it. I can just fix it up and I can just mix it real good and I can make this work. Now, I don't want to get rid of this. I got to keep this. And you become hoarders. And you're trying to make things work because you want it to stay together and keep it in the event that this person wants to apologize. And the fact of the matter is, this individual won't apologize. And so what has to happen is, instead of looking for closure, let their absence be your closure. And this is not just for boyfriend and girlfriend relationships or baby daddy and baby mama relationship. This could be issues with daddy, who was never in the picture. This could be issues with mama, who was never in the picture. And daddy is stubborn. And you've never forgave dad because daddy never came back and said, listen, this, that, and the third, I did this. Daddy may not ever come back and say, listen, I'm sorry for how I treated you as a child. I'm sorry for not being there. You may not ever hear those words. So their absence has to be your closure. Again, spoiled milk does not apologize for being spoiled. It's just spoiled. And the best thing you need to do is throw spoiled milk away. Stop trying to save it and reserve it and make cottage cheese out of it. Listen, even after you make cottage cheese, they're still not going to apologize. So you're wasting your time. And so you'll be surprised at how many people right now that is looking at me, that is looking for closure from relationship that was years ago. This is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to stay wounded in the year that you were wounded. I want you to hear what I just said. Don't stay wounded in the year that you were wounded. Don't stay wounded in the month that you were wounded. Stop looking for closure from people who are spoiled. I'm going to say that again. I don't want you to be wounded in the year that you were wounded. Don't be wounded in the month that you were wounded. You got people, I got grown adults, I got grown ladies who are full-figured in every sense of the word, but still have a 12-year-old mentality. I got men who are full-figured men, husky, built, and they still have an 8-year-old mind, and that's because they're still stuck in that place where the damage was done, where the pain was done, where all of this anguish and all of this anger came from, guys. And so you don't need to be stuck in a place where you were wounded. All right. You got to get out of that place and stop looking for closure, because some people will not apologize to you. I don't care how nice you were to them. I don't care how good you were to them. They will not come back and apologize to you. So their absence has to be your greatest closure. And at the end of the day, you have to love some people from a distance. I don't care if it's mama, daddy, grandpa, uncle, your baby daddy, your baby mama. Some people, you just listen. I can't be around you. I love you, but I can't be around that. And for me staying away is probably going to be the best thing that we can both do. So let me just stay over here and you stay there. And I'm going to just let your absence be closure. All right. So number 3 is delete. I got to go, guys. Number 4 is stop responding. Stop responding. If you're trying to get rid of an obsessive ex and the ex is obsessive for a reason, he or she is looking for a response. But your crazy self keep responding to this person. Stop responding. Stop responding, because you're giving them ammunition to think that, listen, she keep calling me now. Wait a minute. She keep texting me. I might have a chance. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Stop responding. If you're saying leave me alone, you need to mean that. Are you hearing me? That don't mean you showing up to his house and you going over to his house. Listen, you need to mean what you say and say what you mean. All right. Number 5, guys, and I got to go, is don't play into the guilt or manipulation. The fact that they're obsessive has nothing to do with you. This is a condition that they are currently in. It has nothing to do with you. So this guilt trip that some of you guys keep falling for, it's the okie doke, man. Y'all got to wake up. You got to snap out of it, because behind all of that is a motive. They're looking for an opportunity to get to the door. And if you open the door, I don't care if you crack it just a little bit. If you crack it, guess what? They coming in. If you crack it just a little bit, I promise you, they are going to use it as an opportunity to get you and to keep you stuck. This is the reason why men will purposely pump you up, ladies, with babies. Because guess what? If I can't have you, nobody else will. So I'll keep pumping you up with babies, make you think that I love you. And then every 9 months, you get pregnant. Back to back. Back to back. While you getting pregnant, I'm getting this other chick pregnant. Back to back. And so in his mind mentally, because he's sick, and his mind mentally, he's saying, listen, ain't nobody going to want you with 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. You're going to be by yourself. And guess what? If you're going to be by yourself with all these kids, guess what? Who you going to be with? Guess who you're going to desire to be with? Me. So I'll keep you in rotation. And if you're not careful, you'll start feeling guilt. And it's manipulation, guys, that is happening. I don't know why I just love him. I know he a dog, but at least I know he a dog. There's something about him. Listen, I need you to seriously wake up, because you are being manipulated. Don't fall for the hype. Listen to me. Don't fall for the hype. It's a trick to get you stuck. All right? So stop letting these men pump you up with babies every 6 weeks. You hear me? Because it's a trick, and it's trying to keep you stuck in the place that you're in. All right? Number 6, guys, is this. If you no longer feel safe, you need to call the authorities. If you've done all that you can do, you told them to stop. You told her to stop. She's showing up at your job. She's showing up at your church. She's trying to talk to your family members and trying to convince them to tell you to get back together. Listen, this is foolishness, and this level of foolishness require a restraining order. All right? It requires the police to be involved. All right? Because I've told you, sis, over and over again, I'm not interested. And you still with this okie doke stuff. Listen, this is over. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. And here's me. I've never done this before. Maybe y'all can teach me tonight. But I don't know what it means to have this on and off relationship. I never had ever experienced that. So I don't know what that means to have this on and off relationship. Because normally, when I'm done with you, I'm pretty much done with you. It's no me going back to the situation. In fact, anybody who I deal with never have to worry about me calling my ex, or I'm secretly at my ex's house. Listen, I don't know what that. I've never been in that situation before. Maybe y'all can teach me something. But I just, once I'm done, guys, I'm done. And so this is what I'm saying, that your no has to be no. All right? Because if not, you're sending these mixed signals, and these people thinking that, listen, I got a chance. And especially as men, I know that we think we got a chance. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. You let me back in the house? All right. I got you. I got you. You let me drive your car? While you at work? Okay. I got you. And so you got to be careful, guys, that you're not setting yourself up for the okie doke. But if it gets out of control, you've done all you can, you need to call the authorities. You don't need to play with it. You don't need, well, maybe he'll change. Listen, he may not ever change. But guess what? The authorities and law enforcement will make him change. He don't have to change. That's fine. We can get other people involved to kind of make him change, or make her change. For that reason. All right. Last but not least, number 7 is this, guys, is if you're trying to get rid of an obsessive ex, you got to do me a favor. And that is, you got to properly prepare to move on. And part of you properly preparing to move on is leaving the past in the past. That doesn't mean going back to revisit what you said that you hated. I can't believe I wasted all this time in this relationship. I don't understand. But you keep going back to the place that you say you got hurt from. And so if you keep going back to the place that you keep getting hurt from, I don't want you to say nothing to me. I want you to close your mouth because I don't want to hear it. Because you the one keep going back. And so until you make a conscious decision that, listen, I deserve so much better and I deserve more, stop complaining about the issues that you keep putting yourself in. I know that's tough, but you need to hear that tonight because some of this stuff, guys, could have been avoided months and years ago had you made a conscious decision that I'm finna move on. One of the dangerous places that you can ever be is be in a relationship where you feel stuck. And I'm talking about a marriage. I'm talking about a dating situation. I'm talking about even a family situation where you feel like you have loyalty to this relationship. And you've got to make this work. I've got to stay for the sake of the kids. I've got to stay because, I don't have a job. I don't work. So, he supports the house financially or she supports the house financially. And so financially, because I'm not in a place to do for myself, I got to stay in this relationship. No. You need to, no. That's no. You are never stuck. You've got to start preparing to move forward. Even if it's without them. You got to move forward. And here's the thing that you will discover. Once you get this mindset, you'll realize 6 months down the road, a year later, that listen, I guess I didn't need them after all. I didn't need their money. I didn't need their time. I didn't need their attention. I'm good. In fact, I'm the best I've ever been since I got rid of my ex. But you got to make a conscious decision that, listen, I am moving forward, period. This issue with Kate Spade, they said that her and her husband was thinking about getting divorced. They were separated, yada, yada. I don't care. No relationship is that serious where I'm going to kill myself. It ain't finna happen. It's too many females out here. It ain't finna happen. I'm not finna kill myself trying to make somebody love me. It ain't finna happen. I'm not hanging myself. I'm not taking no gun to my head. It ain't finna happen. But some people get overly obsessive. And they feel like, listen, if I can't have you, nobody will. And so I'll kill myself if I can't. That's foolishness. You hear me? That is foolishness. Nobody is that good. Listen, your 2 minutes is not that good to make me kill myself. You hear me what I'm saying? It ain't that good. It's not that good to make me want to go strangle myself and call it quits. Yes, Evangeline, you got to be able to be in a place where you love you. Did you hear me? You got to be in a place where you love you. And none of that stuff matters when you absolutely love the skin that you're in. You'll be surprised, guys, on how many people look at themselves in the mirror every day and do not like who they see in the mirror. Did you hear what I said? They do not like the person. They don't like the way they look. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm bald-headed. My hair too long. My hair too white. I got freckles. My cheeks are too big. My nose is too large. My breath stink. And you'd be surprised on how many people that do not know and like what they see in the mirror. And so you got to be careful because you'll fall in a situation to where if you don't love you, nobody else will love you. And you can't, it's hard for you to respect what you don't love. You've got to start loving you. All right. So number 7, guys, is you got to start preparing to move on. Let's go a little deeper, and I got to go, guys. I got about 15 minutes. So let's go deeper. All right. You ready? Let's go deeper. All right. So let's talk about now. We've talked about obsessive X. The one thing that we have not talked about is we have not talked about soul ties. Now, let me break this down to you guys. So I hope you're listening. Let me break this down to you. So as we talk about soul ties, there's a couple of things you need to understand right off rip. All right. And one of the things you need to understand is that there are 3 types of soul ties. Yeah, 3. And I want you to write this down. There's 3 types of soul ties. The first type of soul ties, guys, what we call good soul ties. All right? You have good soul ties. The next type is what we call bad soul ties. All right? And then last but not least, the third type is what we call sexual soul ties. All right? So let me explain the difference between all three. So good soul ties are soul ties that sisters share, or brothers and sisters share, or brother to brother share. That bond, that is a good soul tie. There's nothing wrong with that. All right? That's a good soul tie. Another good soul tie could be a soul tie between the pastor and the member. And especially in the black church, we call our pastor our spiritual father. If he's married, the wife may be called the spiritual mother. All right? And in return, they will call you the spiritual daughter. How my spiritual son. Or they just might call you son, or they might just call you daughter. That is a good soul tie. There's nothing wrong with that type of soul tie. That don't need to be destroyed. That don't need to be broken. That's a good soul tie. Another good soul tie could be the relationship that you have with your children. Right? You just genuinely love your children. You guys have a bond that can never be broken. I don't care how old they get, how young they get. It will never be broken. It's a good soul tie. You can also have the same good soul tie with your husband, all right? Or the boyfriend that you want to marry, all right? This is where we get the word soulmate. But before we get married, you don't become my soulmate after we get married. You're my soulmate from the beginning during the dating stages, right? So these are good soul ties. There's nothing wrong with these soul ties. These are common bonds that you have with people. You got people who you went to school with, you know, homeboys and homegirls that listen, you know, y'all did a lot of dirt together. I mean, a lot of dirt together. And y'all have always kept up with each other. You have that bond, right? That can't be broken. We're going to be friends for forever. All right? So those are good soul ties. Now, but we have bad soul ties, right? That are things like relationships that you share with exes. And the relationships didn't work out the way you wanted to work out. You got family members that betrayed you, that you don't really fool with today. Everybody got family members that we don't really, you know, we got some that we do fool with, and then we got some that we don't really talk about, and we don't really deal with. Nobody in the family kind of deal with this individual. And so these are bad soul ties, right? Because of the dirt that they've done before, you don't want to fool with them. These are people that in some instances that you might even hate. Some people that you just don't really want to fool with, all right? These are what we call bad soul ties, all right? Bad soul ties. Maybe a boss that was just racist, that was trying to form this relationship with you in the confines of a work environment. You know, bad soul ties, all right? So you have those type of soul ties. Last but not least is what we're all familiar with, is sexual soul ties, all right? And these sexual soul ties has everything to do with ex-lovers, all right? Ex-lovers, all right? Ex-lovers. Not just ex-lovers, but even present lovers that you're dealing with now. There can be a sexual soul tie that can be formed that connects you guys, all right? Again, these sexual soul ties could be good or bad, because you can have a sexual soul tie with your husband, and that doesn't need to be necessarily broken or destroyed either, but they are still a soul tie, all right? So those are the three types of soul ties, all right? So I want you to think about, what are these soul ties that are prevalent, that has been going on in your type of relationship? What type of soul tie have you consistently seen over the last, let's say, 6 months or the last 2 years? Have you seen more of the bad soul ties? Have you seen more of the good soul ties? Or have you seen more of the sexual soul ties? And then I want you to answer this question, and that is what type of soul ties has affected you the most? And what was the outcome of these soul ties that you were involved in? Either good, bad, or sexual. What was the effect? What are some of the traits? What are some of the cycles that you see as a pattern that happens when you've been involved either in a good soul tie, bad soul tie, or a sexual soul tie. All right. I want you to think about that. I want you to do that for homework, and I want you to answer that question. All right. So as we talk about these three soul ties, there's a couple of things. Let's talk about the sexual soul tie for the sake of argument and conversation tonight. All right. So one of the things that I tell people, and particularly I tell this to women, and it applies to men as well, but I particularly tell this to women because women have this issue. All right. And they have this issue, which is, Dr. G, there are no good men that is available. I can't find nobody. It seems like these men are all cheaters. They're all dogs. They gay. They homosexual. Yada, yada, yada. Richard, what's good? And so they say, Dr. G, listen, I need help. Maybe it's my city. Maybe it's my church. I can't find not one good. Is there not one good man somewhere in the United States, maybe in Jamaica, I don't know, in Korea, somewhere? I need you to help a sister out. And so what I tell them is this, is that you are exactly what you attract. I want you to hear what I just said. You are exactly what you attract. And somebody says, and I always get this from the ladies, Dr. G, that ain't true. That can't be true. I ain't no liar. I ain't no cheater. And I say, you are exactly what you attract. And they say, no, that can't, no, I don't believe now. This other stuff that you talked about, I believe, but now I don't believe that, Dr. G. Listen, you are exactly what you attract, okay? You are exactly what you attract. And I'll prove it to you, all right? So the issue is this, and this is not just for women, this is for men too. You are exactly what you attract. So here it is. So you got people, see, Tamika said I disagree. See, I'm going to show you something. So what happens is this, is that, remember I told you about good soul ties, bad soul ties, and then sexual soul ties. I want you to focus all your attention on the sexual soul ties, right? So you are what you attract because of this particular reason. Especially if you had sex with these individuals who are liars, cheaters, dogs, etc., etc., etc. All right? Hear what I'm getting ready to tell you. I believe, just like the word has spoken over and over and again, that spirits transfer. You may not be a believer of the word, but I'm a believer of the word, and I believe that spirits transfer. Bad spirits transfer. Good spirits transfer, period. This is the reason why if you have a group of people who are having fun and one person coming in the room with an attitude, everybody starts to feeling what this person has been carrying all day long. You can feel it even in church. The spirit could be high, but then on one side of the church is really, really heavy. And that's because spirits transfer, right? And so you are what you attract, because this is where we get the word intercourse, because you have a person who is entering, a man that is entering into the course, and both you guys enter this course together, and this is why we call it intercourse. It's a transferring of spirits. It's a transferring of spirits. And so because you're not a cheater, but this person was, spirits transfer. And because spirits transfer, now you're not dealing with just the individual, but now you're dealing with the residue of what the person that you slept with carried. Are you hearing me? You're dealing with what this spirit of this person carried. And so personally, you may not be a cheater, but guess what? The person that you slept with was a cheater. You may not be a liar, but guess what? The person that you laid down with was a liar. Are y'all hearing me? And so spirits transfer. And so what happens is now there is a residue of what you used to deal with. And this is why you attract after your own kind. This is why you attract these certain men. This is why you attract these certain women. It's because you are exactly what you attract. And it's not until you get the residue off of you to where you can start seeing the things that you really want in a relationship. All right? So let's go even further. Let's go a little deeper. All right? I want to draw your mind back to slavery. all right, in the slavery days. I want to draw your mind back in the slavery days, all right? Let's just go back for a minute. Just follow me for a minute. So back in the day, during slavery, you know as well as I do, the slaves would try their best to get away from master, right? They would try their best to get away. They would try their best to escape. Some would escape successfully. Some would fail miserably, end up losing their lives, end up getting killed, beat to death, family taken away from them, whatever. But every slave had a mentality that I've got to get out of this situation. I cannot die in this place. I've got to get out. I've got to go. And so what would happen is, and you know the story, between late in the midnight hour to the early morning, they would try to plan out escape routes. All right. While planning these escape routes, they would try their best to leave. Right. And while they would leave and try to escape master's house and try to embrace freedom and get to freedom, they ran into a couple of challenges. Again, some would escape successfully. Some would not escape successfully. What tend to happen, the thing that they seem to happen on a consistent basis is that master will always send the dogs out to get the slaves in order to bring them back. Here goes the soul tie. I said they send dogs. You're going to catch it in a minute. The slaves, the masters will send the dogs out to get the slaves to come back. Here goes the soul tie. In the event that they couldn't find the slaves, they needed some reinforcements. And so some of the slaves got slick and they got real smart. And they said, listen, we keep getting caught. We got to stop. There's something that we're not doing right. And so you got to remember, while they were running and escaping and trying to break for freedom, they would be perspiring. They're sweating. You know, some of them would hit themselves they will scrape themselves and blood will come from them. Bloody legs, feet, arms, whatever, trying to escape. Some of them would be crying, trying to escape. And here's the interesting thing that would happen to these slaves, guys, is that the scent from their bodies, regardless if it was sweat, blood, tears, the scent would be picked up naturally from the dogs, and the dogs would tend to pick up their scent in the direction of where they were at and where they were hiding. And so in order to throw the scent away from the dogs, somebody said, listen, we've got to do something different. If we never did anything different, we got to do it now. We got to change it up. We got to switch it up. So then this is what they would do, guys. They would jump into a puddle of water in order to throw the scent off of them. They will hide underneath the water. And so the dogs will go the opposite way, because the scent now, or the residue of what used to be on them, is no longer on them. What am I saying? It's not until you get the residue off of you that you're going to stop attracting dogs. The reason why you keep attracting dogs is because residue is still on you. Blood is still on you. Tears is still on you. The scent of your ex is still on you. And this is why it's a familiar spirit. Now the Bible says, and we know that the Bible, as a reference to water, it referenced the word of God or the spirit of God. It's not until you change from that spirit and put on the spirit of God, where now you don't deal with what you used to deal with. There's a washing of the word now that changes your scent. In fact, it changes the way you look. In fact, it says somewhere in the Bible that you're going to be a new creature. All right. All old things have passed away, and behold, all things have become new. It's not until you get the residue off of you where you're going to start attracting what it is that you really want in a relationship, or what it is that you really want in a marriage. So the problem is, we've got to figure out how to get this residue off of us. Because I'm starting to smell like my ex. That's why things are not right. And I've been trying to move on, and they said the best way to move on is to get with another person. But what's happened is I'm getting with the same person but a different name. It's a different name but the same spirit. You know why? Because spirits transfer. Are you hearing me tonight? It's spirits transfer. And so there is a residue that is still on you, sis. That's still on you, bro. The reason why you keep attracting the same types of individuals. And then until you get the residue off of you. And this is why it's good to take a bath. You'd be surprised at how many grown folk don't take a bath and they wonder why they still stink. Because you got residue on you. You smell like yesterday. You smell like work. Some of you got work and you smell like it. You got to get that residue off of you in order for you to start attracting what it is that you want to attract. So I want to show you something real quick, guys, before we go. So here's how, and I'm glad you asked, here's how you get the residue off of you. All right, you ready? The first thing, guys, is you got to stop again, and this is going to sound repetitive, but this is how you get the residue off of you. You got to stop all communication. I said that you got to stop all communication. You can't try to get this soul tie and destroy the soul tie and you still sexing this person. You don't like him, you don't like her, but y'all still keep having sex. And so we're not into relationships anymore. We just into, getting it in. And, I'm not really ready for the relationship, but, we can get it in. And the reality is that you're setting yourself up. You're keeping these soul ties activated. And so all night long, you think about this individual that ain't thinking about you because you guys have communication between each other. So communication meaning text messages, again, emails, FaceTime. And then last but not least, booty calls. The calls that you like to answer about 2 or 3 in the morning. Them calls. All right? You got to stop all forms of communication. Number 2 is you got to get rid of all gifts. Now, this is going to be difficult, and this is why I'm going to leave my address to where I live and where you can send this information to at the end of this telecast. But all gifts, so jewelry that he gave you, you're going to have to get rid of it. You know why? Because it represents when y'all was together. Shoes, purses, and all this stuff. You bought him baseball caps, bro. You got to get rid of it. Jordans that you bought him. Y'all had matching outfits. Y'all just went to the extreme and y'all just had matching outfits. You got to get rid of that stuff because it's a reminder of the relationship that you used to have. You keep these soul ties activated and you keep the residue on you. Yes, Kanika, you have a sexual scent. That's good. You have a sexual scent. Absolutely. And so every man knows. Let me tell you what most men won't tell you. And this is for men and women. Let me tell you what most people won't tell you. Most men, ladies, know 2 things. And I hope you never forget this. Most men know that either one, if you're mattress material or if you're marriage material. They know that instantly within the first week of y'all talking on the phone, texting. They know either you just going to be mattress material or marriage material. Most ladies, y'all know from rip, if this is the individual you can see yourself with forever because y'all are emotional creatures. And so most women are not going to spend a lot of quality time with men who they don't really see a future with. At the same time, everybody know 2 things. Either you're going to be mattress material or you're going to be marriage material. Either one of the 2. I mean, who we fooling? One of the 2. We all grown. Either you're going to be mattress material or you're going to be marriage material. All right? So you got to stop all communications. Again, text messages, FaceTime, emails, DMs, and last but not least, booty calls. All right? Number 3, guys, is you got to number 3 was get rid of all the gifts. Again, jewelry, you got some of that. I'm going to leave my P.O. box. You can send it to me. I'll take care of it for you. We're going to make sure you ain't got to worry about it. Okay? Yeah, gifts. All that stuff that he gave you. Some of y'all go to bed with his dress shirt on. That you got to get rid of that stuff. You got to get rid of that stuff. So here's another thing. Now, somebody asked me this too. So, well, Dr. G, this was the bed that we used to do our thing in. We used to, in fact, In fact, there's a couch we used to do the thing in. Kitchen counter. You got to get rid of all. Yeah, you might have to move. You might just have to relocate and just start all over. You just throw the whole house away. Throw the whole mattress away, the whole couch away. You know, you might just have to start over because that might be a place that remind you of your ex. And y'all say, Dr. G, this is just kind of a little extreme, but I'm just saying, you might have to get rid of that stuff because why? Spirits transfer. Spirits transfer. Spirits transfer. So y'all might just have to you might just have to relocate. I don't know. You might need to just leave tonight. Just start packing your stuff up and just go. And just start all over. You get you a whole new house, new condo, a new apartment, and just move. Because it just might be too bad. You might have had too many people in that bed. Oof. Oof. You might have had too many people in that bed. Yeah. You might have. Yeah, it might be time for some of y'all to get new mattresses anyway. You know, every 4 years you're supposed to get rid of one anyway. So it might be about that time. It might be the 4-year mark. I'm gonna let you handle that. It might be the 4-year mark anyway. You might need to get rid of that mattress anyway. So you got to get rid of all the stuff. All right. So next one is I want you to turn the music off. So any music, I don't care what genre it is, any music, guys, that y'all used to share, and this used to be y'all song. You got to stop listening to it. Man, turn that off. If you know that's a song that takes you back to how y'all used to be, and it reminds you of him, it reminds you of her, listen, you got to turn the music up, change the radio station, and listen to something else. Because it's going to bring you back to that place. And some of you guys will get depressed, you get stressed out. It was supposed to last forever. And it takes your mind back to the place where y'all used to be. All right? So turn the music off. Any type of music. You gotta turn it off. Any type of videos. You got to turn it off. I said videos. Yeah, the ones that y'all made together. The one that ain't on Fire Stick. I'm talking about y'all personal videos that y'all done made. That you still got in your cell phone. I'm talking to you. You still got them videos, them nasty behind videos that you got in your phone that you still looking at lunchtime and at night when everybody's asleep. You still looking at them nasty videos. They only about 2 minutes long, but you watching every last 2 minutes. You got to delete that stuff, man. You got to get rid of that stuff. Throw the whole video away. Yeah, throw it away. Throw it away. Throw the whole cell phone away. Because some of y'all signals don't work no way. And yeah, you need a new phone anyway. Just throw all that, the mattress, the cell phone, the couch. Just throw it all away. Just the camera, just throw it, the VHS. Just throw it all away. It's just too much. It's just too much. You need to just throw it all away, guys, because you keep watching it. You ain't even that size no more. Just throw it all away. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You just gonna throw it away. All right. Another thing that keeps this soul tie activated and keep this residue on you, guys, is you've got to start denouncing the words and the phrases that you said. And I got 10 minutes. You got to stop and you've got to denounce the words and phrases that you said. All right. So what are you saying? So things like, and men have said this probably to you, and you probably heard this more than once. And the man would probably tell you like, Kanika, I would die for you. And at first you was like, for real? You would die for me? Yeah, I would die for you. And you just start blushing and everything. Oh, he must really love me. You got to start denouncing that stuff. Because your words carry life. The Bible says it like this, that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So that means that at the tip of your tongue is either your death or your destiny. At the tip of your tongue is either your future or your funeral. So the words, guys, that we release into the atmosphere has to come back and to perform what you said that you wanted it to do. And so when a man tells you, listen, I would die for you, he just signed his own death sentence, his death certificate. Because at some point, he just might just do that. He might just die for you. And you find a suicidal note in his house, in his bedroom, over a declaration that he made to you almost a year ago. And because you didn't want to be with him no more, he killed himself. You got to take back and you got to denounce everything that you've said. So you hear phrases like, I'll die for you. You hear phrases like, if I can't have you, nobody else can. You got to take that crazy, psychotic stuff back. You got to denounce it. And if it wasn't even, listen to me, even if it wasn't you saying it, you've got to denounce that spirit again that was spoken over you. I want you to hear me good. You got to denounce that spirit that was even spoken over you. Because the reality is, guys, remember what I just said, spirits transfer. And whatever is released out of your mouth has to come to pass. That's why you can't keep saying to yourself, I'm broke, I ain't never got no money. You know what? You are living that revelation out. And it's going to be, that's going to be your testimony for the rest of this year, is more broke days because of what has been released from your mouth. You got to stop saying that I will never find a good man. All right, you're right. You're going to keep attracting dogs, cheaters, liars, because of what came out of your mouth. You've got to change your verbiage. You got to change your conversation. Because again, at the tip of your tongue is either your death or your destiny. At the tip of your tongue is either your future or your funeral. You direct the ideas and the activities of your life by what you say. So you got to be careful that you're not saying the wrong things. Again, even if you haven't said them, if it has been spoken over you, then you've got to denounce it. All right? And part of that is going into a season of repentance and asking God to forgive you, yada, yada, yada. But you have to do that, because if not, remember what I said, that spirits transfer. And the words that they've said to you now are starting to take root. I remember clearly my dad used to tell us at an early age that we were stupid. We were lazy. We were no good. You ain't going to be no good. I had to stop and I had to denounce the words that my father spoke over me. You ain't going to be no good. You lazy. You stupid. And he would say this on a regular basis. And then if I didn't have good sense, I would start thinking, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I don't got good sense. Maybe I am stupid. Maybe I am lazy. So I had to denounce everything that my father has spoken over my life from a little boy. And the reality was this, guys. They had a conversation. My older sister had a conversation with my uncles about what he used to say to all of us. And we found out some interesting revelation, which was my uncle got mad. He was mad with my dad for saying that you stupid and you this and you that. And my uncle got upset and he said, wait a minute, I know your dad didn't say that you was stupid and you was this, that, and the third. And my sister was like, yeah, that's what he used to say. And my uncle said, well, it's your dad that used to be in the on the short bus in the class that, had to have, about 4 people in it. He was in the slow class. So why is your dad calling y'all stupid when he was in the slow class in the short bus with 3 helmets on and 2 seatbelts? And the reason why he would say this to us, guys, and this is what I want you to hear, is that hurt people hurt people. And again, spirits transfer. And so what has been spoken over him as a child, now he wanted to speak over me as a child, and I had to denounce it. So I'm telling you tonight, you got to be careful of what you say. You got to be careful even how you talk to your kids. And I don't care what they do. You got to stop talking to your children crazy, because spirits transfer. You got to start speaking life into them, encouraging them, having this communication with them where you are an affectionate type of mother or affectionate type of father. You'd be surprised. Some mothers are not affectionate. Some fathers are not affectionate. And because you didn't get that affection, now your daughter, now your son does not experience affection. You know why? Because spirits transfer. And most of the stuff that we dealing with our adulthood, guys, is a reflection of the stuff that we didn't deal with in our childhood. I just said something to you. The stuff that we're dealing with right now in our adulthood is some of the stuff has everything to do with things that we did not correct in our childhood. And this is why you got to denounce some of these things. Because you are not what your mother said. You are not what your father said. You are not what your ex said. Ladies, you are not a bee. You're not a female dog. You none of that. You a queen. And you've got to act that way. You got to dress that way. You got to present yourself that way. You got to stop listening to the people who have something to say. And I always tell people, listen, the voice that controls your mouth and that's constantly in your ear is the voice that controls your life. Not everybody can speak over you. All right? So all this foolishness, and this is why I hate other girls and other women talking about, girl, you a bad bee. No, you're not no bad bee. No, you're a queen. That's what you are. You come from royalty. You come from kingship. There's no bees in your bloodline. That's not even the part of your genealogy. All right? So we got to stop saying some of this stuff, guys, because it sounds cute. And we're saying stuff because hurt people. All right? So be careful what you say. Last but not least, guys, and I got to go, is if you're going to get this residue off of you, you got to stop having sex. Period. With your ex. You got to stop having sex with him or her. Because you're keeping this residue on you. You can't keep talking about Dr. G. I can't meet nobody. You can't meet nobody because you're still dealing with issues of your past. You still dealing with your past. You still sexing your past. That's why you can't find nobody new, because every time you sleep and lay down with this individual, the residue gets thicker and thicker and thicker. There's a thick film, a sexual scent that's still on you that won't go away. Because you keep getting dirty by the same stuff that you said that you wanted to be clean from. And so, guys, these are the things that you got to watch for as we move forward in the summer. We're getting ready to approach the summer season, guys. And everybody, this is where people start getting wild. This is where the sundresses come out, basketball shorts and sweats come out, and y'all start losing your mind. This is normally the summer. About this time is when people end up getting pregnant. Yeah, they get pregnant about this time, and then have the baby in December or January. Yep. So you got to be careful, guys, that you're not falling for the same okie doke. Remember what I said in the beginning. You are never stuck. You're never stuck. You're never stuck. You got to be able to live your truth and be able to come to a place where, listen, I want better for myself. I want better. And me going back to my past is like it's like a dog returning back to his vomit. That's nasty. That's gross. It ended for a reason. Y'all not together for a reason. Not every relationship was meant to be. Not every relationship that ended was meant for it to come back together. Stop trying to fit puzzle pieces together that was never meant to fit. You trying to maneuver and cut pieces, and it just was never meant to be. And so some people who share kids together, maybe y'all were just supposed to just have kids together. Y'all were just supposed to co-parent. That don't mean that you're supposed to be married or stay married. Maybe y'all better as friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe y'all better just as co-parents. Stop trying to force relationships to happen that was never supposed to happen. Listen, we moving on, we moving forward. At the end of the day, Your no has to mean no. And your yes has to mean yes. Or otherwise, this obsessive ex and this soul tie that you think you want to get rid of, it's going to still be in motion because you do not know what you want. My question tonight as we leave this session is, what is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? Is it just, do you really want a relationship? Do you want to be married? Or you just want to casually date? What is it that you want? And whatever that answer is, you need to be honest about what it is that you want. And if you're saying, Dr. G, I'm not ready for a relationship, that's great. I'm not trying to pressure you to be in a relationship that you're not ready for. All I'm saying is you got to know what you want. And whatever you want, you need to start preparing for that if you're not in that place where you need to be. Otherwise, you'll be single, you'll be alone, and you'll be trying to figure out why you can't move on. And majority of it has to do with the fact that you're still stuck on a previous ex. You're still stuck in the previous ex. And so the reality is we got a lot of people, guys, that have emotional affairs with people who they're not even in a relationship with. And this is where their mindset is at. Have emotional affairs with superstars. You ain't gonna, people you ain't gonna meet. And, Idris Elba and Beyonce, these people you probably won't even meet and talk to, but you are in an emotional affair with these individuals. You got pastors who pastor churches, and you a member of the church, and you have an emotional affair with your pastor. It's just too much. It's just too much. You have an emotional affair with your sister's husband, and you put in your mind, well, she ain't doing you right, so you need to, I can take better care of you. All this foolishness that I hear on a regular basis, guys, is absolutely crazy. I promise you, I couldn't make these stories up. These are things that is happening right now. If I had the time to tell you all the different types of crazy relationships that I've heard, it will blow your mind. My point is this, guys, is that you got to live in your truth. All right? And if you're a person who is trying to get rid of this obsessive ex, remember, to every action, there is a reaction. They're not just being obsessive for nothing. It could be the fact that, the sex is good. It could be the fact that you were just good to them. It could be financial reasons. It could be a number of things. But the reality, guys, is that if you leave that door open, they're coming through. And you got to get this residue off of you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go and share this video right now with somebody, your friend, your homegirl, your homeboy. I needed to talk to both the men and the women tonight because, guys, this stuff is happening, and it's happening now. I don't believe that Kate Spade had to pass. I don't believe that she had to commit suicide. I don't know if her husband was setting her up to get the money for money reasons. I don't know if she actually felt that she couldn't live without her husband. I don't know what the story is. I wasn't there. But one thing I do know is that there used to be a time where I felt like dying. But guess what, guys? This ain't the time. This is your season to start living. You gonna listen to me. This is your season to start living. You need to start living differently and thinking about living differently. All right? This is your season to start eating better and driving better and looking better, feeling better. You understand what I'm saying? This is not your season to die. You ain't finna die over nobody. But this is your moment. This is your opportunity to start living your best life. And I want you to share this video with somebody. Somebody needs to hear this tonight because somebody's been dealing with past issues and issues from past relationships. And you can't get over your ex. And you try to embrace new relationships, but you can't because you're still thinking about how good he was and how good she was. Some stuff needed to end. Hear me. Some stuff needed to end so that other things could begin, so that better things could begin. Stop sweating over and panicking over and stressing over what ended. It needed to end. It needed to end. Stop looking for closure. You might not ever get closure. Let their absence, I don't care if they cheated on you, they dogged you out, you expecting them to apologize, it's not finna happen. It's not finna happen. Let their closure be your, let their absence be your closure. All right? All right, so do that for me. Share this video. Somebody needs to hear it, guys. Somebody needs to know that this is definitely not the time, not the season, not the year to die and to give up. You need to start living your best life now. The last thing that I'm going to say to you is this. My prayer is that God will give you power to move forward. Did you hear what I said? My prayer for you is that God will give you power to move forward. And that God in this season will give you the ability to maneuver properly, who to connect with, who to leave alone, who to talk to, who to entertain. You need discernment. You need insight of who you need to spend all this quality time with. All right. And then when you pray that prayer, if God happens to remove them, don't fight God about it because you asked him to do something. And so the people that you ask God to remove, don't get mad when they leave. Let that be your closure. All right. So share this video, guys. I've got to go. I'll see you guys next Tuesday night for Relationship University. We got a lot more to talk about. Listen, if you love what you heard tonight, before I go, if you love what you heard tonight, you can book me. All right. I will come to your house. All right. I will come to your house. We'll do a live video feed just like this. You provide the food. You provide the drinks. I'm going to provide the entertainment. It's going to be fun. We're doing something different all summer long. It's called House Party. All right. We're doing House Party for women, for men, and for our young adults. All right. And so for the ladies, we're calling it Girls Night Out. I want you to get all your homegirls. I want you to get all of your homegirls over. Invite them over to your house. 5, 10, 20, 30 of them. Get them all over to your house. And let's talk about relationships. Most of the time, you told your girlfriends all your business anyway. So let me give you some insight from a male's point of view about what it is that you need to look for moving forward. Because I don't believe you need to start this year in 2017. You need to begin 2019 the same way you started 2018. Listen, you need to do something differently. If you're tired of going to the clubs and tired of spending all this money going to lounges and shows, and let's do something different. Let's do something that's going to benefit us and educate us on what we need to do. One of the things it won't hurt. It's more information, guys. Information is possible and is powerful, and you need it. All right. So we're doing stuff for the women. And we're calling the Girls Night Out. And then we're also doing stuff for the men. We're calling it Man Cave, all right? So all their homeboys, bro, get your homeboys together. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we don't like, that women do. Let's talk about all this stuff and how to become a better man, how to become a better husband, how to become a better dad, right? Let's talk about this. Let's get together. And then last but not least, I'm doing something for our young adults from the ages of 16 to 21, right? And the reason why I'm targeting this area is because I got married, guys, at an early age of 19, about 18, 19 years old. I got married. I had no business getting married. I got this girl pregnant from the church, and you know the rest of the story. If you got somebody pregnant in the church, you had to marry this individual, and that was the most stupidest thing I could have ever done, but I did it because I felt pressured. I felt manipulated. So I got married. I don't want what happened to me to happen to your child, where they feel pressured that they got to get married, they got somebody pregnant. I want to help prevent what may happen in the future. And I believe we need the tools and the strategies and the keys to be successful for long-lasting relationships. So we're doing something for the kids. Again, ages 16 to 21, we're teaching our young adults on what to look for even in dating in college, dating in high school. I'm seeing more pregnancies in high school. We need to stop this. And we need to help educate your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew. And so help me do that. And let's get the word out, guys. And listen, Dr. G is doing something phenomenal, and you need to be a part of it. So for the kids, we're calling it Grad Night. It's absolutely amazing. We're dealing with peer pressure. We're dealing with abstinence. We're dealing with everything, guys, that you probably don't hear that's happening in the schools. We're talking about it. We're talking about drug abuse. We're going to deal with it all, guys. And we're doing it in a home party type atmosphere. And so some of the people, we're going to be able to do a FaceTime. You put me on your smart TV. And for 1 hour, guys, 1 hour, I will visit you in your home. And we'll do these home parties. And we'll have a live Q&A with a twist. And it's going to be phenomenal. All right. So if you like what you heard, I want you to go to my page right now. I want you to book me. I'll come any day of the week. Monday to Friday, we'll do weekends. If I'm in your city, I'll even show up to your house. I'll show up to your physical house or wherever you at, and we'll do this party together, right? And you can host it at your house or wherever you're going to host it at, and we'll make it fun, all right? So we're doing something, we're educating people, and we're trying to promote healthy and long-lasting relationships, all right? Especially in our black community. So I need you to help support this vision, to help support this work. And so I need you to do what you can to make this happen. All right. We're doing it all summer long. In fact, we'll be doing this all year long as well. So I need you to go share this video right now. Again, go to my page now. Book me. I'll be happy to come and do an event for you. And we'll make sure that you have all the information that you need to be successful. All right. So I got to go. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. As I tell you guys every week, listen, if you can't love the one that you with, listen, don't try to love mine. I got to go. Bye-bye.